Now I want to talk about the dye transfer process. This is the way I used to make color prints, and I first saw a show with some dye transfer prints in the Ansel Adams Gallery in Yosemite by Philip Hyde. He had some wonderful prints, and they had a quality that I couldn't get with the way I was making prints with Ectocolor and Cibachrome at the time. So dye transfer is this mythical process that hardly anybody does, kind of like famous novels nobody reads. And it says, here's a little brochure advertising it. Fast? I don't think so. Flexible? Economical? I don't think so. But this brochure is actually from the 1940s, and maybe people had a different mindset then, because the brochure said, oh, you'll have to make some separation negatives. Here's the fine print down there. Separation negatives? That's incredibly complex. Here's the list of materials you need, and notice where this brochure came from, the Payless Drugstore, and it was published in 1947. Katine, an old hand at dye transfer, had an article about making your own dye transfer equipment, and so that put me over the edge, and I decided to start making some dyes. Basically, you disassemble the colors and reassemble them. These are the sheets of film you need to do this. Here's the original and the finished print, and the separation happens. This is a red filter exposure on these films, green, blue. There's contrast masks, highlight masks, separation negatives, lots of fun. Matrices, which are the printing plates. If you roll them out one at a time, you get that, but of course you roll them out all on the same piece of paper and you get an actual print. The question everybody asks is, how do you keep all that in register? That's actually the least of your worries. With a good diagonal film punch, you punch the original, put it in the contact frame with pins in it. There's little pins in the glass here that holds it in place. You punch your masking film and expose it that way. No problem. Let's all make a print together here. Here's the image we're going to make, and some of the film needed to make this image as a dye transfer. And thank God, when you made the printing plates in dye transfer, they were reusable. So here I am pulling these out of their folders. First, we wet the matrices while we get the dye transfer paper out. We roll the paper out. We pull the matrices out of their dye baths. That's the magenta printer. The first rinse, the second rinse. We now roll it onto the paper, and the dyes will migrate from the matrix into the white paper. While that's happening, I pull out the cyan printer, rinse, check the matrix here on the magenta one, roll out the cyan one. Okay, now we're starting to finally get some color here. The yellow printer, roll it out, and we're almost done. We pull off the last matrix. There's our image. It's so exciting to see this for the first time, because all those steps before, they're all black and white steps. This is the first time you actually see a color image. So dye transfer was quite a process, but very involved. And I used to joke to people, if you want to learn dye transfer, you should have your head examined. And only if you're nuts should you attempt it. And I actually mentioned this kind of lame joke in an audio interview I did with Uwe Steinmüller for his website, Outback Photo. And it's an audio interview. And I bring this up because just a few weeks ago, I had a spread in Camera Natura, the Swedish photo magazine. And here's the text about me. Unfortunately, it's in Swedish. But I did show this to John Sexton's wife, Ann Larson, who's Danish. And she could translate a little of it. And she kind of read some, and then looked at me with a worried face, and she said, do you know what this means? And I said, no. And she started translating. Cramer recommends all starting to make pictures first launch an investigation into the services of a psychiatrist. And they put it at the top of the article. So I'm assuming the Swedish have a sense of humor, or they think I'm a very strange photographer.